The auction on Xenon 5 was a strange planet. Its sky was purple, its ground was dark red, and its streets were full of dangerous aliens. In the middle of this world, there was a large black building, the alien auction house. Inside, many rich and evil aliens were sitting, waiting to buy strange and rare slaves. At the back of the auction house, a man from Earth stood quietly. His name was Jack Carter. Jack was not rich. He was not strong. He was just an unlucky cargo pilot. He had lost his ship last month in a bad deal, and now he was poor. He only had a small bag of credits. But today, he was here for something different. He wanted to buy a cheap worker, someone to help him fix an old spaceship. The alien auctioneer. A tall creature with 6 arms banged a metal staff on the ground. Next item, the auctioneer shouted. A fearless Amazon warrior woman. From the dark cage, a tall figure walked into the light. The whole room became silent. She was not like other aliens. She was beautiful, but also dangerous. She was over 7 feet tall, her golden skin shining under the lights. Her muscles were strong. Her long silver hair flowed down her back. Eyes burned like fire. Chains were around her wrists and ankles. But she walked with pride. Like a queen, she did not look down. She did not cry. She looked directly into the eyes of every alien in the room. And they looked away, afraid. The auctioneer smiled nervously. Yes, my friends. This is no ordinary slave. This is a real Amazon warrior from the planet Valora. She is strong, fearless, and dangerous, perfect for battle or entertainment. The crowd of aliens whispered. Some looked excited, but many looked scared. Jack watched her carefully. Something about this woman was strange. Even in chains, she did not seem weak. She did not look defeated. Suddenly, the auctioneer said, starting. Price, 10,000 credits. No one raised their hand. 8,000 credits. The auctioneer shouted quickly. Still, silence. 5,000 credits. The auctioneer said. Aliens shook their heads. Some backed away from the front rows. Jack felt something in his heart. He didn't understand why, but he felt sorry for her. She looked fearless, proud, and lonely. The auctioneer became desperate. 2,000 credits. Anyone? Anyone. Jack's hand moved before he could stop himself. I'll take her, he said in a small voice. The whole room turned and looked at him. The aliens laughed loudly. A poor human buying an Amazon warrior. He will die in one day. One alien joked, but the auctioneer smiled wide. Sold, to the Earthman in the back. Jack's heart was beating fast. What did he just do? He used almost all his credits. He had no plan. He just bought the most dangerous-looking alien woman. In the room, the Amazon woman slowly turned her head and looked at Jack. Her burning golden eyes locked onto his. Then she did something strange. She smiled, not a sweet smile. A dangerous smile. A smile like she knew something Jack did not know. The guards unlocked her chains and pushed her toward Jack. She did not fight. She did not speak. She simply walked next to him and followed him out of the auction house. Outside, the air was cold and dry. Jack walked quickly, his mind racing. What was he going to do with her? How would he keep her under control? He looked at her and finally spoke. You will work for me now, understand? She stayed silent. Jack felt nervous. He led her to his small spaceship, a rusty, broken old ship he had left behind the auction. Stop before entering the ship, Jack turned and asked her, "What is your name?" She finally spoke. Her voice was soft but strong. "You may call me Valara." Then she added one more thing. Her words made Jack freeze. "You did not buy me, Earthman. I allowed you to take me." Jack stopped in his tracks. What did she mean? Why would a strong warrior like her let herself be bought? But before he could ask more, a loud noise echoed in the street. Behind them, two alien men watched from the shadows. One of them spoke into a small device. "The Earthman has her? Follow them." Jack did not see them, but Valara did. She turned her head slightly and smiled again, that same dangerous smile. Inside the ship, Jack sat in the pilot's seat, still confused. Valara sat quietly behind him, her golden eyes shining in the dark. Jack thought he had made a smart deal. A cheap worker for his ship, but he had no idea. His life was about to change forever. The silent, Displax old ship shook as it rose from Xenon 5's surface. The engines rattled and hissed, but somehow stayed alive. Inside the small cockpit, Jack sat nervously. Behind him, sitting very still, was Valara, the Amazon warrior he had just bought. But something was strange. She didn't speak. She didn't ask questions. She didn't even look around at his ship. She just sat there, silent, with that same strange smile. Jack kept glancing at her through the small mirror on his console. She looked so calm, almost too calm. "Ah, so," Jack finally said, trying to break the silence, "I'm Jack. This is my ship, the Star Runner. It's not much, but it flies." Valara said nothing. She didn't even nod. Jack felt a chill run down his spine. He had seen many slaves before. They were usually scared, sad, or angry. But Valara looked like she was waiting. For what? When the ship left Xenon 5's orbit, Jack set the autopilot. Then he turned to her. "Listen," he said, forcing confidence into his voice. "You belong to me now. You work when I say. You stay quiet when I say understand." Valara slowly tilted her head. Her golden eyes locked on his. Still, she didn't speak. Jack swallowed hard. His mouth felt dry. "Are you even listening to me?" Suddenly, she stood up. Jack jumped from his seat. His hand moved toward the small laser gun on the wall. But Valara didn't attack him. Instead, she walked slowly around the small cockpit, her fingers gently touching the walls, the controls, the floor, as if she was scanning the whole ship with her senses. Then, without warning, she sat cross-legged on the floor, closed her eyes, and stayed still. Jack was now very worried. This woman, what is she doing? He thought. Meanwhile, far behind them, a small black ship rose from Xenon 5's dark side. Inside it, two alien pirates watched Jack's ship on their scanner. "Target is moving. Human cargo pilot with Amazon woman aboard," one pirate said. The other pirate grinned. "Follow, but do not attack yet. That woman is valuable, very valuable." Back in the Star Runner, hours passed. Jack kept glancing at Valara. She did not eat. She did not sleep. She did not speak. It was like she was waiting for something to happen. Finally, Jack couldn't stay quiet anymore. "Why are you so quiet?" he asked. "You are free to talk, you know." This time, Valara opened her eyes slowly. Her eyes glowed faintly in the dim light. Then she said, softly but clearly, "I am watching. You." Jack froze. "What do you mean?" he asked carefully. Valara stood up and took one step closer to him. "I allowed you to buy me," she said. "And now, I am watching what kind of man you really are." Jack felt confused and nervous. He tried to laugh it off. "Well, I'm just an ordinary guy. Nothing special." Valara's face remained serious. She leaned closer. Her voice dropped to a whisper. "Ordinary." She said, "No. You are not ordinary. I chose you." Jack blinked. "You chose me." Valara nodded. Slowly. I scanned every mind in that auction house. I waited for the right one. The one with a heart that could change fate. Jack couldn't believe it. This powerful Amazon warrior, this fearless alien queen, she was using him for some secret purpose. Before Jack could ask more, an alarm beeped loudly. Danger, ship approaching fast. Jack looked at the scanner. The small black ship was behind them and getting closer. Valara smiled again. Your enemies have come early, she said calmly. Jack panicked. He grabbed the control stick and turned sharply. The Star Runner shook as laser shots flew past them. Who are they? Why are they following us? Jack shouted. Valara's answer was short, but full of mystery. Because I am not just a warrior, Jack. I am much more. She reached for the laser gun on the wall, but then she stopped and held it out to Jack. Your fate begins now, she said. Jack took the gun, but his hands were shaking. Outside, the enemy ship locked onto them. Inside, Valara smiled a smile of a woman who already knew how this battle would end. Chase begins. The black enemy ship was fast. Too fast. Jack's old ship, the Star Runner, shook as it flew through an asteroid field. Laser blasts zipped past its sides, missing by inches. Jack held the control stick tight, sweat dripping from his face. Valara stood calmly behind him. Watching the scanner screen, they are hunters, she said. They won't stop. Jack's hands trembled. He shouted, Why are they hunting you? What did you do? Valara stayed silent for a moment. Her face was unreadable. Then she answered, Slowly, I didn't do anything. I am something. Jack blinked. What does that even mean? But before she could explain, the ship's computer screamed incoming missile. Jack pulled hard to the left. The missile exploded near the back engine. The whole ship rocked. Violently, sparks flew from the control panel. Valara didn't panic. Instead, she moved quickly to the weapons console. In just seconds, she took control of the ship's small defense guns. Keep flying, she ordered. Don't look back. Jack wanted to ask more questions, but this was not the time. He focused on flying through the dense field of rocks. The asteroid belt was dangerous, but it was his only chance to escape. Behind them, the enemy ship fired. Again, Valara pressed buttons calmly. The ship's rear gun turned and shot back. The laser blasts hit the enemy's wings. Sparks burst from its side, but it kept coming. Jack shouted, We can't outrun them forever. What do we do? Valaris? Golden eyes narrowed. We don't run. We trap them. Before Jack could reply, she pointed toward a giant asteroid ahead. It was spinning slowly, but inside it was a deep, dark cave. Fly into that cave, she said firmly. Jack hesitated. That's crazy. The ship will crash. Valara didn't blink. Trust me. No. This place? I chose this route for a reason. Jack felt fear, but also something else. He trusted her somehow. He gritted his teeth and pushed the ship forward. The cave entrance was small and dark. The Star Runner barely fit inside. The walls were sharp and narrow. The ship's wings almost touched the rock. Inside, it was dark. Too dark. Jack turned on the lights. The cave twisted and turned like a maze. But Valara stood behind him, giving directions with calm confidence. Left, she said. Now right, she whispered. Behind them, the enemy ship followed, firing wildly. Suddenly, Valara said, Now. Stop. Jack hit the brakes. The Star Runner floated still. Valara pressed a hidden switch on the wall. From deep inside the asteroid, huge metal doors closed behind them, trapping the enemy ship inside the cave. The hunters didn't expect that. Jack watched on the scanner as their ship crashed into the cave wall and exploded. The cave shook, but the Star Runner stayed safe. Silence filled the cockpit. Jack turned to Valara, shocked. How? How did you know this cave had doors? He asked. Valera smiled. That dangerous, knowing smile. Because I have been here before, she said softly. Jack's heart raced. What are you really, Valera? You said you're not just a warrior. Valera stepped forward. Her face was calm, but her eyes burned brighter now. She spoke slowly. I am a queen, Jack, the last queen of Valora. My people betrayed me. My guards tried to kill me. I escaped and hid among slaves. Jack couldn't believe it. A queen. But why let yourself be caught? Why be sold at auction? He asked. Valara's smile widened. Because I needed someone, she said. Someone who doesn't know the game. Someone not from this galaxy. Someone with a good heart. Jack sat down heavily. So you chose me. Valara nodded. You are my chance, Jack. My fate is now tied to yours. And so is your fate tied to mine. Before Jack could say another word, the ship's computer beeped again. Warning, new ships approaching. Jack checked the screen. 3 larger ships were on their way, even more dangerous than the hunters. Valara spoke calmly, but her voice was serious. They have found us faster than I expected. Jack asked. Who are they? Valara turned to him and said something that made his blood run cold. My people, my royal guards, and they will kill anyone with me. Escape, Plantha. Star Runner floated quietly inside the asteroid cave. Outside, 3 giant warships were approaching fast. Inside the cockpit, Jack stared at the scanner. His hands felt cold. Valara stood beside him, calm as ever. Her golden eyes glowed softly in the dim light. Jack turned to her. Those ships. You said they are your royal guards. Why are they hunting you? Aren't they supposed to protect their queen? Valara's smile faded. For the first time, she looked sad. They were my guards, Jack. But they serve a new master now. They betrayed me, and they will not leave this place until I'm dead. Or captured. Jack felt fear creeping into his chest. His ship was old, slow, and damaged. Their enemies were fast, strong, and many. How can we escape this time? Jack asked. Valara walked to a storage locker and opened it. Inside was a small metal cube with strange alien markings glowing. Blue Dot. Jack frowned. What is that? Valara held it carefully. This is an ancient Valoran device. It can create a wormhole, a small tunnel through space, but only once. Jack's eyes widened. That sounds useful. Why didn't you use it before? Valara shook her head. It can only be activated in deep space. If we use it too close to this asteroid, it will collapse the cave and destroy us. Jack groaned. So we still have to fly out. Through 3 warships. Valara nodded slowly. Yes, but we have one advantage. She pointed at a side screen showing the asteroid's interior map. This asteroid has secret tunnels known only to my people. I will guide you out through a hidden back exit. But after that, you must fly straight into open space and give me the cube. Jack hesitated. What happens then? Valara looked at him, serious and honest. Then, you trust me. Suddenly, the asteroid walls shook. The enemy ships were firing lasers at the cave entrance. Dust and rocks fell from the ceiling. Jack didn't wait. He started the engines and followed Valara's directions. The hidden tunnels were narrow and winding. The ship scraped the rocky walls as it twisted through them. Sparks flew, but the engines kept running. Behind them, the enemy ships were getting closer. After a tense few minutes, they burst out of a small hidden hole on the far side of the asteroid. Jack gasped in relief, but his relief didn't last. Long, the Royal Guard ships had already moved around the asteroid. They were waiting for them. Valara stayed calm. Fly straight, she shouted. Jack hit the thrusters. The ship surged forward. Laser fire flashed all around them. Valara ran to the back of the cockpit and opened a small hatch. She held the glowing cube in her hand, whispering alien words Jack couldn't understand. The cube began to hum and glow brighter. Tiny blue sparks danced around her fingers. Suddenly, in front of the Star Runner, space itself cracked open. A blue swirling hole appeared, a wormhole. Jack's eyes widened. "Is that safe?" he shouted. Valara only smiled. "No." Behind them, the Royal Guard ships fired a final barrage of lasers. One laser blast hit the Star Runner's side. The ship's shields flared and failed. Another blast hit the rear engine. Fire erupted. The ship shook violently. Warning alarms blaring. Jack gritted his teeth and aimed directly for the swirling blue hole. The last thing he heard before entering the wormhole was Valara's voice. "Do not be afraid. You were meant for this." Everything went dark. Inside the wormhole, time and space twisted. Jack felt his body pulled in every direction at once. Lights and shadows flashed around him. Valara sat calmly, her eyes closed, as if she had done this before, Jack thought. It would never end. But suddenly, silence. The Star Runner emerged from the wormhole. Into empty space. No enemies, just stars. Jack slumped back in his seat, exhausted but alive. Where are we?" he asked. Valara finally opened her eyes. Her face was serious again. "We are far away from my enemies now." "But we are not safe yet." Jack frowned. "What do you mean? Who else is after us?" Valara stood and walked closer to him. She bent down, whispered in his ear, "You, Jack. You are now part of something bigger, much bigger. The guards will not be the last to come." Then she pulled a small knife from her belt. Jack froze. Valara smiled softly and said, "You have something inside your head. Jack, a tracker. They will follow you wherever you go, unless I remove it." Now the truth revealed. The Star Runner floated quietly in deep space, far from any planet or star. Inside the small ship, Jack sat frozen. Valara was standing close to him, holding a sharp, silver knife in her hand. Her words echoed in Jack's mind. "There is a tracker inside your head. I must remove it." Now, Jack's heart pounded. "A tracker inside me?" he asked, shocked. Valara nodded slowly. "Yes. When you bought me at the auction, they didn't only sell me, they marked you too. That was part of their plan." Jack shook his head. "But why? I'm just an ordinary cargo pilot." Valara's golden eyes glowed softly in the dim light. "No, Jack, you are not ordinary. That's what I'm trying to tell you." Jack swallowed hard. "Why me? Why did you let yourself get caught? Why did you let me buy you?" he asked. Valar put down the knife for a moment and sat across from him. For the first time, she looked human. Her proud warrior expression softened. Her voice was calm but full of sadness. "I will tell you everything now, Jack. You deserve the truth." She took a deep breath and began her story. "Many years ago, I was the queen of Valora. Our people were warriors. Strong, fearless, proud. But we were also full of arrogance. My court believed they could control fate, control destiny itself." Valara paused and looked away. "They learned that a prophecy existed," she continued. "A prophecy that spoke of a human, a man from far away, who would one day hold the heart of Valora's queen and change the future of the galaxy." Jack listened carefully, not moving. The prophecy said this human would not be a soldier, not a king, but an ordinary man with a pure heart. "A man who could see beyond war," Valara said. She looked at Jack and smiled gently. "When I learned About this prophecy, my own guards and advisors became afraid. They did not want a foreigner, especially an Earthman, to change Valora's future. So they betrayed me. They imprisoned me. But I escaped. Jack felt goosebumps on his arms. Valara leaned closer. I let myself be captured by the slave. Traitors, she explained, because I knew. Somewhere in that auction house, the one from the prophecy would appear. Jack whispered, "And you think that's me?" Valara nodded slowly. "I scanned the minds of every buyer there, Jack. Only you were different. You did not see me as a tool, or a trophy, or a weapon. You saw me as a person. That's why I chose you." Jack felt overwhelmed. He had thought he was just buying a worker. But instead, he had walked straight into an ancient prophecy. Valara stood and picked up the knife again. "I know this is hard to believe," she said softly, "but the tracker inside your head is real. They implanted it when you entered the auction house. That's how the royal guards followed us so quickly." Jack hesitated. "Will it hurt?" he asked nervously. Valara smiled again, this time a kind smile. "A little," she said, "but you are stronger than you think." Jack closed his eyes and took a deep breath. "Okay. Do it." Valara's hands were gentle, but fast. The knife cut a small line behind his ear. A tiny silver device came out, no larger than a grain of sand. It glowed red, then faded. She dropped it on the floor and crushed it under her boot. "It's done," she said. Jack touched the spot behind his ear. It hurt, but he felt lighter somehow. Free. For a moment, silence filled the ship. Then Jack finally spoke. "So what happens now? Where do we go?" Valara's face became serious again. "Now, Jack, we begin." "A journey," she said. "A journey to Valora." Jack froze. "Valora, your home world. They want to kill us there." Valara nodded calmly. "Yes, but that is exactly why we must go. If we don't, this galaxy will remain under the rule of traitors forever. You are part of this now. You are my ally." Jack looked at her, this beautiful, strong, dangerous alien queen who chose him. His old, ordinary life was gone. But something inside him felt alive for the first time suddenly. A small, blinking light appeared on the control panel. A message. Valara walked over and read it. Her eyes narrowed. "What is it?" Jack asked quickly. Valara turned to him, her voice cold and serious. "Someone knows we are alive. A new hunter is coming, and this one is far worse than the guards." Jack felt a chill run down his spine. "Who?" he asked. Valara looked out into the stars and whispered, "The Shadow Broker." The battle for freedom, the Star Runner drifted in space, far from any planet or sun. Inside, Jack and Valara stood at the control panel, reading the message that blinked. On the screen, Jack's stomach turned cold when he heard the name. The Shadow Broker. "Who or what is that?" he asked nervously. Valara's face was serious. "The Shadow Broker is not just a hunter, Jack. He is a legend. No one has ever escaped him. He works for no king or queen, only for himself." Jack swallowed hard. "And he's coming for us." Valara nodded. "Yes, he will track us anywhere, and when he finds us, he will destroy us." Suddenly, the ship's sensors beeped. Jack checked the screen. A huge dark ship was approaching fast. "This can't be happening already," Jack said. "We just got rid of your guards." Valara looked out the window. Far away in the dark, a shadowy vessel appeared. It was larger than any ship Jack had seen, black, silent, and shaped like a predator. No lights, no warnings, just death. Jack's hands shook as he grabbed the controls. "We need to run." "Ha!" he shouted. Valara put a hand on his shoulder. Her touch was calm but strong. "We can't outrun him, Jack," she said softly. "Then what do we do?" He asked. Valara's golden eyes locked on his. "We fight." Jack froze. "I can't fight him. I'm just a pilot." Valara smiled slightly. "No, Jack, you're more than that now. You have learned fast. And you have courage. That is rare." Jack's mind raced, but somehow, deep inside, he knew she was right. The Shadow Broker's voice suddenly crackled through the ship's speaker. Deep, cold, and smooth. "Earthman, return the queen. I will let you live." The voice said. Jack looked at Valara. She shook her head. "He is lying," she whispered. "He never leaves witnesses." Jack took a deep breath. He turned on the communicator and answered, "Come. And take her if you can." Valara smiled wide now, a warrior's smile. She handed Jack a blaster. "Time to become a hero." "Jack," she said. The dark ship fired first. Heavy laser beams shot toward the Star Runner. Jack dodged wildly, weaving through space. The Star Runner's shields flared with every near hit. Valara stood at the weapons station, firing back with perfect aim. But then, a new danger appeared. The Shadow Broker deployed attack drones fast, deadly machines that swarmed toward the Star Runner. Jack's eyes widened. "They're too many." He shouted. Valara's voice stayed calm. "We need to trap them," she said. Jack thought fast, suddenly. He saw a giant spinning asteroid nearby. "We can hide inside that," he said. Valara nodded. Jack turned the ship sharply, heading straight toward the asteroid. The Shadow Broker's drones followed closely as the Star Runner entered a large cave in the asteroid. Jack flew deeper and deeper into the tunnels. The drones came faster, chasing them like angry bees. Valara fired the ship's rear guns, hitting a few drones, but more kept coming. Finally, they reached the asteroid's core. It was glowing. Unstable, Jack had an idea. "If we shoot that core, it will explode, right?" he asked. Valara's eyes glowed brighter. "Yes," she said. "But we must escape before it does." Without waiting, Jack spun the ship around. Valara aimed carefully and fired a powerful laser at the asteroid's glowing core. Deep rumble began. The asteroid started to crack apart. The drones panicked and slowed down. Jack hit the thrusters. The Star Runner shot out of the asteroid just as it exploded behind them. A huge shockwave raced outward, smashing the Shadow Broker's drones. But the Shadow Broker's main ship was still there. It fired again. The Star Runner's shields were weak now. Then Valara did something unexpected. She stood up and opened the small airlock door. "What are you doing?" Jack shouted. Valara smiled at him, a smile full of trust. "I know what the prophecy means now." "Jack," she said, "you are not the weapon. We are the weapon. Together." She jumped out into space. Jack gasped, but then he saw it. Valara's armor glowed bright. She flew straight toward the Shadow Broker's ship. Shining like a comet, she struck the dark ship directly. A huge burst of energy exploded across its hull. The Shadow Broker's ship cracked open. Sparks and fire burst from every side. Jack watched in awe. Valara's body fell back toward the Star Runner, and he caught her in the airlock just before she drifted away. Inside the cockpit, she sat beside him, breathing hard but alive. Jack turned and said quietly, "You saved us." Valara looked at him and smiled gently. "No, Jack, we saved each other." Fate changed forever. The Star Runner moved slowly through the stars. Jack sat in the pilot seat, feeling exhausted but alive. Beside him, Valara was quiet, her golden skin still glowing faintly from the energy she had used to destroy the Shadow Broker's ship. But Jack knew their journey was not over. Ahead. On the screen, a large blue planet appeared. VA Laura.VA, Lara single quotes, as home. The place where this all began, Jack looked at her and asked softly, "Are you ready to return?" Valara nodded. "I must," she said. "This is my destiny, and now it's yours too, Jack." As they entered Valora's atmosphere, Jack saw strange sights outside the window, tall cities shining like silver towers, ships flying in perfect formation, soldiers standing guard on floating platforms. But what shocked Jack most were the huge holograms of Valara's face projected across the sky, but with a red cross over them and one word flashing in their language: traitor. Jack frowned. "They still call you that?" Valara's voice was calm. "Yes, the council has poisoned their minds. Tai will show them the truth. Today." When the Star Runner landed on a landing pad near the royal palace, a large group of armored guards was already waiting, their weapons pointed at Jack and Valara. As they stepped out of the ship, the lead guard stepped forward and spoke in a loud voice. "Queen Valara, by order of the High Council, you are under arrest. And the Earthman too." Jack's heart raced, but Valara raised her hand. "Stop," she said firmly. "I will speak to the people. Bring the council here. Let them hear my words, or prove themselves cowards." The guards hesitated, then stepped aside. One of them pressed a button. Within minutes, a large crowd gathered near the landing pad. The High Council, dressed in gold robes, arrived and stood above them on a raised platform. The leader of the council, an old man with cold silver eyes, spoke. "Valora does not need you anymore, Valara," he said. "You lost your throne. And you brought a human here, a weak outsider. How can such a man save us?" The crowd murmured. Jack felt their eyes on him. He felt small, ordinary, out of place, but then Valara took his hand. She lifted it high so all could see. Her voice rang out strong and clear. "This human is not weak. He is brave. He saved me, and he fought by my side. He is the one from the prophecy you all feared." The crowd grew quiet. Valara stepped forward and continued. "The prophecy was never about war or control. It was about change. A new way for Valora. A future built on courage, trust, and freedom." The council leader laughed coldly. "Words are easy, Valara," he said. "But the throne belongs to the strongest. Do you challenge us?" Valara smiled, that fearless Amazon smile Jack had seen before. "No," she said calmly. "He does." She turned and looked at Jack. Jack froze. "What? Me?" he whispered. Valara nodded. "Yes. Jack Carter of Earth. I name you as my champion." The crowd gasped. Jack felt panic rise in his chest. He wasn't a warrior, wasn't a fighter. But Valara's eyes told him everything. "Trust yourself. You have already won. Just stand tall." The council leader stepped down from the platform and faced Jack. He raised a long silver staff. Jack raised nothing but his hands. But then something strange happened. Valara stepped beside him and placed her hand on his shoulder. A soft golden light spread from her to Jack. Suddenly, he felt stronger, calmer. His fear melted away. The council leader attacked, but Jack dodged easily. Another strike, Jack moved fast, natural, as if he had trained all his life. The crowd watched in awe. The fight didn't last long. With one final move, Jack caught the staff, snapped it in two, and dropped it at the leader's feet. The council leader fell to his knees. The crowd cheered. Valara stepped forward and declared loudly, "Valara is free again. The prophecy is fulfilled. This human, this man of courage helped save us all." The crowd bowed. The guards lowered their weapons, and then something Jack never expected happened. The royal guards who had once chased them now kneeled before Jack. One guard spoke, "By ancient law, the one who frees the queen becomes king." Jack stared at Valera, shocked. Valara smiled warmly. "This is your fate now, Jack," she said softly. Jack took a deep breath. He looked at the crowd, the palace, the sky. And at Valara, his life had truly changed forever. From a poor cargo pilot to the ruler of a warrior world, beside a fearless queen.